The Retirement Benefits Authority, the country's pensions regulator, is this year celebrating 10 years of existence. We are now joined by its chief executive, Edward Ogundo, to tell us what they're celebrating and what they have in place to ensure that our savings are safe into the Vision 2030 and into our retirement. Welcome, Mr. Ogundo.
Thank you.
Let's start with what you're celebrating.
If we talk about celebration, we have to go back where we came from. In the year 2000, the pension industry was more fragmented. No proper legal framework, a lot of mismanagement of funds, and most of the schemes were not properly managed. There were issues of transparency and a loss of members' interest in management of these schemes. During the first 10 years, we have seen that now more pension system is more organized. Most of the pensions schemes are actually compliant with our rules, and that's why we've moved to risk-based provision, where we just look at the risks which are inherent with those schemes.
One of the things we've also noticed during the past 10 years, mostly, say the last 5-6 years, is a lot of change in regulation, which I think has helped you come to where you are. Do you want to take us through a bit of that, those regulatory changes?
Look at the issues of taxation. A lot of benefits have been coming in every year, trying to increase tax benefits to the pensioners. And take, for instance, the recent change where we said anybody above the age of 65 will get tax exempt. That's very encouraging. That you know that by the time you retire, once you reach 65, you're not paying taxes anymore. That's very encouraging. One good thing, like if you take a pension, for example, and somebody has your debt, or when you retire, nobody's supposed to touch your pensions. That will encourage most people to save, because you know pension will never be touched by any debtor, because that is not meant for paying debts.
Let's talk about protecting retirement savings. You are mandated to protect that. And I know one of the challenges we have with pension schemes in this country is that they don't invest properly. Or when a pensioner comes for their retirement savings, they're taken round in circles. One, have you prosecuted anyone over that fault?
What we found very interesting is that any time that we find a scheme is in default, and we tell the pension trustees that they're going to be charged, they normally pay those pensioners. So they don't want to go to court, because they've realized to be a process.
I'm sure there are very many pensioners out there who at this point are saying that's a lie, because they have been taken round in circles. What is the way out for them? How can they get their retirement savings?
Most of the pension schemes which are under regulations by RBA are occupational schemes, not government schemes. So anybody with a government scheme doesn't fall under us. But those ones who have individual pension plans, or the ones who have corporate pensions, and they have problems with us, normally they bring their complaints to RBA. The structure is very good that if we bring a complaint and we say the employer still insists he can't pay you, then you can go to the tribunal. The
largest pensioner, and of course the one with the most cases, NSSF, how much are you ensuring that your rules are enforced at the NSSF?
Yeah. NSSF, we've changed the rules quite a bit, especially in terms of investments. Now, going forward, the NSSF is not allowed to invest in any other investment other than government security or public issued bonds. That basically will make sure that we preserve the principle. And the issue of their investment, you can see generally sort of investment property have basically gone down. What they're trying to do is to finish what has already been in place. And we are at least we've seen them publishing their accounts. But we're still insisting that they might need to move to the next level, where we say they should appoint fund managers to manage, and custodians to manage their funds, so that they don't do it in-house. Because that's part of the problem. Because that, when you have fund managers, it allows competition, and therefore returns are expected to be much higher than if it's an in-house arrangement. And this is one thing that we still insist that must be done.
And in terms of payments, there are payments to pensioners, because that has been the problem over so many years. People complain you retire and then you have to spend half your retirement time at the NSSF headquarters trying to claim what you have actually worked for all your working life.
Initially, we used to receive a lot of complaints earlier, and we're seeing that is dropping now, because I think they have set up offices all over the country. And they have also computerized most of the systems. You can easily get your statement from anywhere. Even at the showground, they had a computer, when anybody passing, once you have your ID, you could be able to get a statement showing how much you have been saving with NSSF. That's a big change, and it's quite encouraging. And this, we're also seeing these changes even within the government pension scheme. Although we don't regulate them, they're also computerizing their processes.
Previously, if I can use the word lament, about the Uhuru generation, and the fact that we're having a huge bulk of people retiring in the next few years into no savings. How big a threat is this to us as a country?
The threat is real. The only advantage is at least the retirement age was pushed by another 5 years. So that gives us time to try and get these people to realize that they have to increase their pension savings. Otherwise, if it was 55, it was approaching very soon. Because most people within that generation have not been saving. And most within their financial planning, retirement or planning is like the last one in their list. We really need to make sure that all these people within that generation start increasing their savings. And that's why when you have rules like preservation rule, it used to be a very good rule. But there is a challenge about it in Parliament that should be withdrawn. Definitely it will have an effect on pension reserves. But in the long term, it will have an effect on those people who are going to retire. They will start depending on their children. Yet we realize that the family structures have broken down.
I've seen some arguments around the preservation rule, and some look very credible, very humane. If I lost my job at 40, why can I not access the savings and use them to invest so that I can at least see myself through the remainder of the years? Why would you want it preserved completely?
Some of those arguments are real, because once in a while you hear somebody has found themselves in that situation. But then you ask yourself, what is pension all about? Pension is intended for a particular purpose. It is not a normal saving account. It is intended to take care of you after retirement. Otherwise, you lose the basic fabrics of saving for retirement. If that money is going to be used for other things, because certain situations has arisen, one-off situation has arisen. Because, okay, you might have a situation whereby you pay, but after so many years, what happens? So it's still very important that we have some level of preservation, because it helps build up that pension.